It's the season finale. It's the season finale. You guys, it is the season finale, and we are continuing the script series. We are switching the narratives our generation has back to where they should be. As always, we are keeping it real and honest. This conversation, most definitely, I know for a fact, will be a good one. So, enough of me talking. I'm ready, and I know my co host are ready
Can
too.
I add?
The
Can I
next,
add something real quick? Just
yes, you
real
can add
quick.
something.
I want everybody to hear me and hear me loud. We have to identify strongholds. Like those are a real thing. A lot of times it's hard to let go of somebody because the hold and grasp that they have on us is already so strong. This is the real thing, y'all. And a lot of times she's self-aware. If she fixed herself to act, like to act and present, even if it was anonymous, like you already have been thinking about it, you've been sitting down, you know your worth, you've identified it, but the stronghold is why you're still there. And you have to pray that thing off of you. You're aware of who's around you, you're aware of his ways. Um, kind of answered your own question in a way. It's easier said than done, but the best thing to do is to pray. And that's the real thing. Especially my advice, I did hear a few people say, like go and get something better, but it seems like in this season that you're stepping into, you may want to spend some time alone. Like you may just want to work on your career, get settled, not get settled into like what like you're more. Identify yourself in that season, and then I promise you the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do too much looking. Spend your time and grow from. You're gonna have to heal from that relationship. It sounds like something you got to heal from. So take that time, pray that thing off of you, and focus on you. Definitely do that.
Yeah, I also want to say it is strong tide. And I also want to say also what Daniel has said that it is comfort because all it is just that you are in a fear of moving on to the next because you are connected to the particular person emotionally. You just so into maybe the sex you into something to whereas you scared that you are not able to find that for in the next person, and all you just got to do is you just got to let go of that scroll tie. But overall I would like to definitely say for the women, we just got to relax. A lot of times when we see that person that we like, especially if you got the physical look, we just get so excited and we just can't come down after then. And it goes back into not all the time jumping into sex. You just gotta, as women, we definitely have to do that 60-day, that 90-day rule, because once you open your legs and if he doing little stuff that can wind us in, everything just closed. So the distractions, different things, that the red flags that we need to be seeing, we're not really seeing. And if we is seeing it going over our heads. So we just got to relax and calm down so we can be able to draw in, to be able to see, okay, what are these things that I need to be able to see? Because a lot of times we're not able to see that if we already got a picture built up in our head. You know how we as females, we it is what it is in our head. We already built it up in our head. We already built the story up. We already built how it's gonna go from A, B to C. This how he is. This how we gonna do it. This is how it's gonna go. And see, because you open your legs up, or you and that's another thing. Strong ties is not just with sex. It's not. So, you build that relationship up just by conversation, emotionally. We as females, we get easily attached in a little thing. So, you just gotta relax and calm down. And you can't put yourself in a place whereas you so quick to want to give all the time. Now, going back to what we said about yes, it's a give and take, but sometimes in this beginning stage, you're gonna have to let him do most of the work, especially if you don't want to get in a place where like this. Because when you just give, this what happens. And so, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say that you took the words right out of my mouth, but I will say this for the people in the audience. I will say from now on, whatever relationship you get in, do not let your relationship be based upon sex. I've been in a relationship. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be vent for y'all. I've been in a relationship where it mainly focused on sex. It did not last long. You need to learn more about that woman. You learn about
Substance.
how is she doing. How is she spiritually? Actually, to even make the relationship stronger or not, just learn more about God with her. Learn more about the stuff with her. You don't need to based upon sex within your relationship. Y'all, matter of fact, on top of that, let it be the weight of your relationship. So I don't have nothing to say because you just took the words right out my mouth.
Have some substance. Have some character, as my auntie and mother say. Have some character about yourself. Build some substance. Shoot, like dang. I cannot. When you do get to your next, sis, like make sure you have some substance, and that's even go for guys. You can have standards too. I don't know why it's always just not normalized. Guys can have standards too. But make sure that your relationship with that person, it has some type of substance. Because like Don can say, it's not gonna stand. That house not gonna stand because it's built with a bunch of air. Now brick is put up to keep the foundation up. And then you wonder why you cold in the house. You cold because it ain't no where to cover at. So yeah. All right. Oh, it just keep getting better and better, y'all. Just better and better. All right. So next one. Oh, this is a good one. Oh my gosh. Somebody said, "How can I forgive people?" Woo! How can I forgive people better, but especially my ex that did me wrong? Oh Jesus. Mm-mm.
Um, Forgiveness is one of those things that's not always the easiest to talk about because it's easier said than done. And I find,
Mm-hmm.
even me personally, I find myself a lot of times saying, like, I'm over something, and then you get triggered. And maybe it may be a memory. You maybe done went to a place, or you watching TV or something, and events are taking place, and it triggers you. It makes you think about it, and then you really haven't let the thing go that you said that you have. Honestly, it's a process. It's something that a lot of the things that we're talking about, like, goes back to strongholds. Like, a lot of things require prayer, because a lot of things we can't do on our own. I'm still healing from some stuff I thought I was over, y'all. And then I get to thinking, or I'm chilling and I watch a little TV show, and I'm like, wait a minute, because a year ago today, this happened, and I really haven't let it go. And honestly, it's just easier said than done. And then I know when you tell somebody, like, oh, just pray about it, it sounds so simple, but it's just one of those things where do some shadow work. Ask yourself some questions like, why haven't you forgiven this person? What are some things about yourself that you haven't forgiven? Because sometimes it's hard to forgive others when you haven't forgiven yourself first. Like, a lot of things just take some unboxing, and like the healing process is not as like simple as people make it seem. It's really not. I even did a TikTok about it. I started my healing journey a year ago, and baby, I'm still on it. Like, there's no time on healing, there's no time on forgiveness. It's just one day at a time. And then honestly, maybe 5 years from now, you'll see yourself in a different light, and you'll be done grown by then, and you'll see things from a different perspective. But honestly, if you want to forgive better, start with you and take your time.
You done took everything I was getting ready to say, but I was gonna say, you have to forgive yourself first, and I'm still on my healing journey now. Like, it can be little small things, like you smell something, or you see someone, or you hear a song. Like, I was in the car and favorite song by Toots came on, and I swear I was over there, and I was like, can we change this song, please? I just can't right now. But it starts with you. It starts with forgiving yourself, and like you said, thinking why haven't I forgiven someone? Sometimes it's more of, if I forgive them, are they gonna think I'm weak, or are they gonna think they can come back into my life if I forgive them? You forgive them and you set boundaries. I forgive you. That's the godly thing to do, but you no longer have access to me. So that's just how I've been working on forgiving.
I think for the perspective that I've come to gain from working with forgiveness, Like we talked about in episode 2, like Don and AR and Kaitie, like last year was a year. And I had to take a lot of time to work through some things that I had to work through, forgive some things that I had to forgive. Um, but forgiveness isn't for anybody else. Forgiveness is for you. And I think the first step of actually getting towards being able to forgive somebody is acknowledging that you have to do it for yourself to get past whatever it was that you were going through. Some people used to say like forgiveness is the best revenge, because there is nothing better than looking at somebody that hurt you and them still thinking that they got one over on you, and you just look at them and you just like, oh yeah, that happened. Okay, good for you, I guess. Like, go off, I guess. Like, you really have to look at it as, what can I learn from this situation? So I'd say the key to forgiveness is time, transparency, and honesty with yourself. Like, you have to be honest with yourself, because a lot of the time we can't get past something because we're mad at ourselves for something that we think we didn't see. And sometimes it just wasn't in your ability to see what was coming, and that is not your fault. And like, it's those moments of like really being honest with yourself about the things that you've experienced, and also knowing that there is no right timeline. No one can tell you when you should be over something, because like some people were saying, like, there are some songs that I hear now and I'm like, oh, ooh, that took me back a little bit, but it's okay. We gonna get past it. We going Sometimes you have to take songs back. I think we even talked about that too. Like, sometimes you have to sit in a song. Sometimes you have to sit in a memory and let that memory sink in and really look at it from a clear perspective. Because a lot of the times when we're in the thick of the things, it is very hard for us to see what's really going on. But when you take a step back, you can see the bigger picture and you can see, oh yeah, no, there was absolutely no way I could have seen that coming, because they were doing all the things right. So yeah.
Dog, y'all got nothing to say? Y'all quiet?
He's sitting at home. I'm pretty sure
Listen,
somebody else may have something else to
Yo,
say.
listen,
Yeah.
listen. Sis, I'ma say this because something is my, you know how old people have that in my shine on. I just literally, I don't know why, it just threw me. While he was talking, while everybody was talking is, and maybe it's somebody on here that need to hear this. I'ma try to say it how God gave it to me, because y'all know how I get. The person tried to break you, but you are not broken. And the reason why the forgiveness is even harder, because each chain is starting to fall off from you and you're getting back to where you're supposed to be. And so you're thinking that back then you was the better version of you. But something is coming, sis, and the version that God has you about to put you in, you're about to break some other people off of their exes just by seeing you do it. And you're about to be even more vocal about it. Even more vocal about it. So whoever this is, I don't know if that just needs to be your answer, but I will say that you have to understand that they did not break you. You were not meant to be broken. You were not meant to be broken, and you won't be broken. And I think that's the space that you feel like your healing process is supposed to look like. But no, your healing process is supposed to be, what am I supposed to be back formed into? Because your back then is not your into. Because see, a lot of times some of us think our into is what we were before. No, it's supposed to be better. That is your into. So I don't know why, y'all, but I had to get that out because that's a revelation. I don't know why, But it was like it crept up on me for this person. You are not broken, but you are here to tell it about it. You and your ex had to disperse because literally everything that person had on them would literally was going to kill you. And God had to break that thing up off of you, sis. So, whoo, I don't even know who this person is, but Jesus Christ. Okay, ooh, had a moment, y'all. But I will say this for that person, that is all Kaitie. That's literally all I'm released to say to you. That it's literally it. It's literally it. And unless my co-host, I know y'all are spiritual too. Unless God ordained you to tell it to her, don't say it. Just for this one, I'm just asking that of y'all. So if y'all are getting to say it, then you say it. But for this person, that's just something that's pushing on me. I don't know why. I don't know why, y'all. I don't know why. Just keep pushing on me. Um, does anybody have anything to add to what I
Yeah,
just said?
I'm gonna say, you just gotta know your triggers. So going back to knowing the songs, movies, whatever it is that's going to cause you to be emotional. In a way, you have to know that sometimes, like they said, you have to be in it, but then sometimes you just have to, just be like, oh no, I'm not listening to this, or oh no, I'm not going to think about this, or whatever else to get you in that particular place, for order for you to be able to get that particular healing that you need. And every time you think about something that causes you to think about your ex or something, you got to forgive it each and every time, because our brain is shaped to think about a thing, but you have to go through that process to heal from it, basically.
I feel like a lot of all of this is just tied into one. Everything is just going back to setting standards, knowing your worth, knowing where you are, and understanding things from a lighter perspective. And a lot of these things are connected to strongholds. Like, it doesn't even have to be in a relationship, even friendship. Sometimes a friend can hurt you to the point where it's like, wait a minute, thought we were like peanut butter and jelly. Like what? And it's some things that can hurt you deep down to the core. Family. And I feel like along with my healing journey, I've had people hurt me in ways that a boyfriend could never hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought we were tied in like that. And I want to say replace. I'm an overthinker. I overthink a lot, and I have to keep myself busy in a way because a lot of times I have time on my hand to think about certain things or like honest, I don't know what a lot of people's time consists of, but maybe less TV time, and that's going to lessen the triggers from like a romantic movie or something like that. Um, it's a lot of things we could do to occupy our time. I know for me, I'm learning to do that. Like go to the gym or something. It's like a way to, release things for me, or prayer if that's what. If you find you want a safe space with God and you just want to pray over some things, talk to him, and vent, whatever it is that you could use to occupy your time, do that. And just find like healthier things to do.
I think when while Kaitie was talking, something that came to me was, um, all of these things are important, but another thing that is very important is knowing your word and knowing the scripture. Because while Kaitie was talking, I was just thinking about all of the different verses that come to my mind throughout the course of the day when I'm having a really hard time. The Lord will never give you more than you can handle. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Any tongue that rise against me in judgment, thou will condemn. There are so many different verses that you can say and you can repeat. He didn't bring me this far to leave me. There is nothing that the world can do to take the joy that I have away. And I think once you get to these moments where you're getting these really hard times and you're fighting, and I do not know where this is coming from. Kaitie, you started this and it's been coming. But knowing who God is, if you're a faith-based person, knowing who God is and knowing that he will never change, that is a spine, a backbone, that is a foundation to go on when you're going on this journey of forgiveness. And I won't say more because there's nothing that I can say that the word hasn't said better, so I will leave it there.
I
Oh,
also want to say,
Jesus.
I'm sorry, but I also want to say that you have to know boundaries. So you have to set your boundaries, and this comes to family members of different people that have hurt you in the past, or they kind of like talking or doing things in a way that may, may trigger you from something that may have happened from your ex or something else. You have to set the standards of or boundaries of, okay, this is what I will allow, or this is what I would not allow, because you know how that will make you feel, and they go back to knowing your why, like why this particular thing, particular situation make you feel the way it make you feel. So you just basically, in your healing process, you have to set boundaries. I promise you do, because if you don't, more and more you're gonna find yourself upset and hurt about a thing.
I want to say,
And
just
not
I'm gonna
just
squeeze this in. Oh, I'm sorry.
go
Ooh,
ahead,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You
go
can go
ahead.
ahead.
You good. And what Alexis was saying was, for you, it's not material or people boundaries. It's your self boundaries. And hear me clearly. It's, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't, it's not released to me to say what I need to say, but you know what I'm talking about. It's you boundaries. It has nothing to do with the people around you. That part has already been done, because now you're, maybe this person is in isolation. Maybe that's the process you got to go through. But now the boundaries is a you thing. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's nothing materialistic that will help you in this, in your healing process where you are right now. The isolation is for a reason, because you don't just need to know your triggers, but you have to set your boundaries for you. What is my perimeters? How far does my perimeters stretch for whatever? And that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. But I just wanted to make sure that for that person, that was very much clear. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, set boundaries and drop expectations. Like, you can save yourself a lot of trouble if you stop expecting certain things from people, because expectations lead to disappointment. I know this firsthand. Like, I is it I don't know your name. AR, that's what it says. But sometimes we've been made up something in our minds, and we've got a whole plan and it goes nothing like that. And that's where disappointment comes. And honestly, expectations cloud your judgment. Like, when you like fantasies, all of that is just clouding your discernment. It's clouding your ability to like see things from a godly perspective. Like, when you're allowing it's clouding all of that. The best thing to do, honestly, is to do the work, do the self work. It's so important. Like, we keep coming back to the same point. Do the self work. A lot of times we think that we're ready for certain things, or I say it like this. Um, I wrote down some things a few months ago, and I told God, I said, God, I want friends that are on the same spiritual journey as me, people who are already where I want to be. That way, I have counsel over me who can guide me and get me to where I want to be. When it comes to a guy, like guy energy, I'm not even looking for a boyfriend, just somebody I can grow to learn and be my friend. I'm doing the self work, and I'm not perfect, because I'm not gonna say too much, but I'm not perfect, but I know what I want. And they like, oh, now that I can look back on those times, I'm just like, okay, we done a few things, and honestly, some people are gone, but like what I've gained is just so much better. Like, I have more spiritual friends. I got people who hold me accountable. Like, girl, I don't think that's right, or you sure you want to do that? And so, like, when you do the self work, a lot of times we find ourselves in positions to where it's easier to forgive. It's easier to recognize red flags, and then Daniel, is it like you even said earlier? Sometimes people play it so well where you just don't know. But I do feel like when you pray and ask God for discernment, even if you don't see it, you're gonna feel it. You got to be able to trust yourself. That's a big part of life too, with anybody, friends, family, boyfriend, girlfriend. Trusting yourself, a form of trusting yourself is trusting God, because he operates through us. And it's important to do that. So do the self work, and that'll save you a lot of heartache and trouble. And it's easier said than done, but you put God first, seek the kingdom first, and I promise you, everything else is going to follow behind it. I think just as humans, we are impatient. We like to do things on our own, and sometimes we gotta touch the hot stove before we realize that, okay, oh, I'm gonna get burnt. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you actually have to learn.
Ooh, 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 sis. Oh, Jesus. Man, y'all, this just, ooh, y'all just do not know. Oh my gosh. Wow. Um, mm, I really hope whoever this is, y'all, this is just a sign. Whoever this is reaches out to me, cause that I don't know who you is, but baby, that you messing up my show though. But oh my gosh, take it everything. What Alexa said, everything. What she did have to everything y'all just said. Everything. Best I'm still with everything that y'all just said. Um woo. Mm. All right. All right. Does anybody else have anything to add before we move on? That was just too good. All right. So the next one, oof, is does a person cheat? Why we just go back to cheating every episode? Because they don't have self control or doesn't communicate well. I think that's what it is. Does a person cheat because they don't have self control or doesn't communicate well? All right. So Chris, Daniel, D, in that order, I need y'all to answer this question, and then everyone else will follow.
Folks, now, for me, I feel like it's more of a communication thing. I believe that a lot of things in life is because that we lack communication. So it could fall into one thing, and who would believe because we think we understand each other so well that we misinterpret certain things and certain signals. Whereas, like, you might think this person, okay, they might eventually give in because, let's say, for example, some man or woman, they're celibate or they're waiting till marriage. And they're like, oh, I could, as long as I just waited out for a couple of months, they might just give in and give it to me. Where you didn't understand that they was really serious about this and that the journey that you have to be with them is that, hey, yes, I want to wait till marriage. And then they feel like where they could just continue going on with it and maybe they're just giving and that's where they ended up misinterpreting that signal and they're just like, okay, well, I can't do this anymore, so I'm gonna just end up going about my business and cheat.
Ooh,
um, I will say that I I don't think cheating is a black and white thing, and
mm,
I say that in the sense of some people say cheating is having sex with somebody. Some people say cheating is a kiss. Some people say cheating is a conversation because sometimes, like to me personally, it's the intent. It's not what the thing is, it's
mm,
what the thing means to you.
that's
And
it.
so with it having different forms, I think there are different reasons that people do what they do. Sometimes they're looking for something that they're missing, sometimes they just don't care. But it all comes down to the intention behind the thing, because some people look for an emotional connection, and if they're not getting it where in their relationship, they look for it elsewhere, and
Mm,
sometimes they don't even realize that's what they're doing until it's like, oh wow, I'm talking to two completely different people, and I wasn't talking to one of them at the beginning of my relationship. um and so I think giving a definitive answer, there will always be some reason that hasn't been addressed. So I think this is one of those things where it's like, I don't know why some people cheat. Some people are just looking for something that they're missing. Um, so yeah.
Mm. D, come on, girl.
Um, Daniel kind of took what I was going to say, but when you're speaking of cheating, you have to understand that it's different forms of cheating. Now, excuse my granddaddy. It's different forms of cheating, and it's always about the intent afterwards. I personally feel like cheating occurs where when it's a lack of communication, um, and a lack of control, self control. You can communicate to your partner, hey, I don't like this, is that, and the third. I need you to do this, is that, and the third, and they don't do it. So you go seek it from someone else, or it can be they don't. Or there's a lack of communication. They don't say anything at all, and they just go do whatever they want to do. So,
Mm. Alexis, Dawn, ugh, Key, Keontae. Anybody want to add anything? That was good.
What I will say is I'm gonna try to speak the best way because y'all took everything. I think it's an I don't know answer, but I really think it comes from both aspects. Like, of course, you can tell this person that, I'm waiting to marriage. I don't wanna do this, do that. Because so can you please respect it. In this generation, and I see it a lot, they will actually accept that and then mess around and stab people in the back and not even communicate, not even, vent or have some, or just tell the person that, hey, I don't think it's gonna work out. But I really think it comes from both aspects. Like it's the lack of communication and it's a lack of self control. You can, I'm keep PG. You can control yourself if you put your mind to it. If you really care about that person, I mean, you cheat anyway, but if you really do, you actually do what willing it takes to actually keep the relationship growing because you know you don't not cheating can actually you never know the sky's the limit for that relationship because I don't know what to say right now, but I would say it's a point of both aspects and whatnot.
well, I don't really have much to say about it, but I do want to piggyback off what Daniel was saying about um um there's a void that they're trying to fill because 9 times out of 10 they heard about something or they in fear about something. So they just want to fill a void when they cheat. And so they're just gonna just do whatever because they simply just don't they rather not care to rather just deal with healing, dealing with set morals and boundaries and different things. But also people cheat because there's a motive behind it. Um so yeah, people just overall though, people just cheat to me because they just want to fill a void. And then the next thing is they have a motive.
Mm, that's true. I would say before Keontae, because I know she has something to say. We have to learn how we're only getting older. And I say that to say accountability. Um, I'm accountable for how I respond to something, whether I communicate that or not. And I think the older we get, we really need to keep that in mind when it comes to what our response is. I'm responsible for how I respond, which causes your reaction. So I always would say, being an adult, the adult thing to do would be take some accountability. Um, your response could have been different. What if you could have just broke up with that person if they weren't reaching that expectation? If you said something the first time, because sometimes we can say, okay, well, this person did this now. Okay, what could you have done though? You could have broken off with that person if you see they were not going to find a solution or change what they were doing. So we have to be accountable for our part that we play in whatever, whether that be something small or something big. Um, And I most definitely think, when it comes to cheating, people always say, well, if they would did, yeah, but what you at your big age should have did? Like, let's keep it real. You could have really walked away. You really didn't even have to have a conversation with this person until after you collected your thoughts. So if you don't want to communicate and you don't want to take accountability, then say that. But like Daniel was saying, it's not always black and white. I do agree because in certain situations, people do be tied up with people that they're not married to in the wrong way. And that's a whole nother situation. We need to stop putting all our eggs in one basket. I'm not married to you. So some things I don't even need to have tied to you if we keeping it real. So I say that to say the only time I will tie myself down with anybody to where I can't get down to it is going to be my husband. You tie me down with a ring and your name. That's a difference. That means then yes, I do need to communicate. Yes, I do need to adjust. But as far as we just saying, oh well, they could have did this, that they could have, but so could you. Maybe the alert should have been okay. Maybe like Dante, maybe I don't have no self control. So maybe I just have a sexual demon that I need to deal with. And maybe that can't be with this person. Maybe that has nothing to do with this person because I'm so sick and tired of society having this thing. Oh, well, this person could did something. Sometimes we have sexual demons, and especially our generation, that nobody wants to talk about. That is a demon. If you cannot have no type of self-control or no substance other than what you're getting out of your relationship is only sex, that's a demon and that's a problem that you have to deal with. If that's not a problem with this person, it's going to be a problem with the next person. If that is most definitely an issue that you cannot identify, spiritually, something is most definitely off. This is why prayer, this is why when people say keep God in the center, if you was keeping God in the center, you will be able to identify that. So I say that to say I'm not fussing, I'm not yelling at anybody, but sometimes we have to take accountability for our actions because once again, I am responsible on how I respond, what I do. And I know some people too, they just know how to press people buttons. You know what you so some people don't even give people a chance to respond because they know what their response is going to be because you know what you did was wrong. So sometimes, Daniel, I do have to agree it's not black and white, but most of the time it is black and white. And we just have to know that sometimes it's just best to say, okay, this is just something I can't handle right now. Because at the end of the day, I can say that now because I had the experience where me and this guy was talking and I had the opportunity to cheat. I really did. Did I do it? No. I just said, you know what, this not gonna work. And guess what? My actions after that were me keeping up my integrity and my personality, who I was as a person. Because I really could have lost myself on everything that had occurred. But I had to make up in my mind, okay, Caitlin, what is your reaction going to be though? Because that person is going to have to answer for what they do. But what is your response going to be? So I most definitely will say, let's start normalizing that we have to be accountable for what we do. And even if you do communicate with that person, take a step back. Take a breather. What is so wrong with taking a step back and taking a breather and then figure out what you want to do? So make sure that you know that it's okay to revisit these conversations. And also too, sometimes just figure out, do you got too much time on your hands? Cause baby, I think about my career. I think about all this other stuff. I ain't thinking about no sex. I'm sorry, but what can I say? I can do that for myself. So sometimes we have to. Do you have too much time on your hands, sweetheart? What is your goals? That's what I care about. What how you treat your mama? That's what I care about. Cause if you cussing at your mama, you'll be cussing me out and knocking me down 2 weeks later. I'm sorry. I need some substance because we getting too old to not have substance. I need some substance, baby boy. All that other stuff, that's kid play. I done did all that. Done did that, done that. Okay, what about some substance? And you should expect substance from me too. Let's put that out there. Everything that I'm expecting from you, I expect you to expect me and hold me accountable for the same things. And some people cannot say that. So I will say, what substance, and people love to say, what you bring to the table, baby, I am the table. Baby, I know how to add on to the table. Baby, can you make sure the table don't fall? Because at the end of the day, if you the head and not the tail, did the way you built that table, can it hold the shit I put on it? So let's talk about it. What do I bring to the table? Baby, I am the table and I add to the table. I'm sorry. Because while you worry about what Caitlyn doing, what is you going to do? So when I be at court all day, am I going to come home? I'm sorry. What we doing? So that's why I say sometimes I'm not playing games. I don't do the whole word games and the whole not. I'm just practicing it now. So when I don't get 30, I'm not making the same excuses I made when I was 15. Because you need to grow up. I'm holding myself accountable and I'm making sure that what I'm asking you to do is something that I can do too. That's being an adult about the situation. So I will most definitely say, I hope I didn't ruffle no feathers, but at the same time, it had to be said in the way it had to be said because at the end of the day, our generation, we selling the next generation some pure BS. And this is not the stuff that's talked about. So I say this to all the guys keep asking me what I bring to the table, stop playing with me. Did you build the table correctly, sir? That's what I want to know. Can I put anything on the table or it's going to fall? Because, see, you want to be the head and not the tail. I'm supposed to be your helper. That's what the Bible says. I'm supposed to be a helper to my husband. You're supposed to provide the foundation, not me, baby love. It's just a luxury and an extra for me to do what I'm supposed to do. Because Kaitie can sustain myself. That ain't the question no more. The question is when we put our brains together, am I the one that's providing all the solutions? I need me a man. What just God say? If you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, baby, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to be submissive, but so much to a boyfriend. I'm going to most definitely be submissive to my husband. But if you can't take me on a date or anything else, why are we having this conversation? So I know all of that was out of the way, but I'm just saying we have to stop patty caking with answers because at the end of the day, I'm accountable for what I do. So if you can't be accountable now and we get married, how can you hold yourself accountable with the things that God asks you to do when it comes pertaining to me? So that go to say, baby, I'm dating to be married. I'm not dating to be no long time girlfriend. I'm not dating to be somebody wannabe wife. If you don't want to give me a ring and sign your name on the dotted line, since you love to say it's just a paper, okay, we'll sign the paper. Because I'm not playing no games. And you're not about to have me and God be getting in trouble because I'm settling for less. And I said what I said. So like I said, if you can't pray me out of no river, then that's a whole nother situation. I need somebody who's gonna pray. Baby, I be sick every month. I need somebody who's gonna pray. Is your prayers even gonna be heard? Baby, I need you to be going in for me like I'm gonna go in for you. Because, baby, one thing Kaitie can do is pray. And one thing I'm gonna do is cover you. That's boyfriend or husband. And I expect the same from you. I don't need nobody that's play no Christian. No, baby, no God for yourself. Do you know him for yourself? Do you talk to him for yourself? So I say all that to say, like I said, that was just side note, but I was just thinking about that thing. But I will say, let's be accountable. Let's grow up and let's start now. So when you be 30, you not aggravating people's children at your big behind age. And also too, it ain't nothing wrong with working with people where they're at. But if you don't even want to be honest where you're at, you're not giving me a choice to figure out if that's something I want to deal with. So if that's not something I want to deal with, guess what? You're going to hear a no. That don't mean it'll be a no forever. If you get yourself together and I get myself together, and there's some things that I need to work on. I'm not perfect. I didn't say I was perfect. But the season that I'm in, you where do you fit in with that? You don't fit in the season I'm in, and it's okay. Maybe we just not compatible for this season. Maybe we'll never be. Who knows? But we have to start being honest about the type of people we are and where we are. Okay, well, you know where you are. Okay, what are you doing to work on where you are? Because you can't stay there when you 30 plus years old. It's not cute no more. You're a grown man. It's not cute. The economy going up every day. It's not cute. It's not cute. And it's not cute for us women to just keep settling. You gonna settle till you 30, got kids, be married, and then be unhappy. I'd rather be 30 something happy and single than be married and miserable. Are you okay when you was single? Because now you're gonna have responsibilities when you get married and when you with people. Do you even know why you single? All these different questions, sis, we have to ask ourselves as women. And guys too, but I'm talking to us women. Sometimes we have to wonder why we are single. Why you think God didn't send you your boat? Because you get an attitude over everything. You get an attitude at the pin drop. But because you so stuck in, oh, I need a man, my man, what you see on social media, that man beating her up behind closed doors. She doesn't have my man, and that man married behind closed doors. So I say that to say we just have to make sure that we be accountable for what we're doing and where we're going. Are you doing something to get where you want to go? Because time is money, and money is time. And my time, I'm already making the money. So matter of fact, my time just can't be wasted. Okay. Let's be better. If I'm with you, you should be better. If you with me, I should be getting better. What are we doing? So I say that to say let's just hold ourselves accountable, not just other people. Let's take that out real quick. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm holding Kaitie accountable. What are we doing? So yeah, I know that was a side note, but I just felt like that had to be said because I am so sick of podcast people just, oh, what do you bring to the table? Oh, no. What are we doing? What are we doing? You know the answer to that question before anybody even asked you that. And two, we're young, so the thing should be okay. I'm building on what I want to be. Let's just be honest. We're young. We're trying to figure it out. But be honest that you're trying to figure it out. You should be trying to figure it out. So I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, I don't want to be 30 years old making the same excuses that I'm making now, because then it's not going to be cute. I need to be working on that or towards that now while I can, before I have kids with anybody, before I get tied down, all that good stuff. I don't want to be no baby mama. I want to be a wife with a capital W, period. So, yeah. Anybody can add anything. That's just my spiel. I just feel like it had to be said. Yeah. Anybody want to add anything? Anybody? Before we get into the last one, the last question of the night.
I do have something to add. I take a step out real quick. I want to say real quick. Scripture had came to me, or I don't know which one exactly it is, but a husband is supposed to love his wife like he loves the church. And even if we're talking about boyfriends or whatever, I feel like that still goes to say that like date a guy who loves you like he loves church. He ain't even looking in that direction. Okay, that's gonna show you how he gonna treat you. Or you said something about like the moms, like how he treat his mom. That is a real thing, y'all. Like, if a guy treat his mom like anything, baby, you ain't too far from that, if not worse. Because it's the person that feeds him, it's the person that like literally raises all of that. If you don't respect his mom, you're not too far from that. Um, the original question is why do people cheat? And it communication could be one thing because a lot of times we feel some type of way and we don't speak on it. A lot of times it's selfishness, like, and the word that came to me immediately was greed. Sometimes it's not even just men. Jezebel's spirit does not have a gender, and I like you have to know that. Sometimes it's greed, like you see it and you want it, And sometimes and this is where accountability comes in. Like you said, you have to understand where you are. And sometimes we want somebody, but we want more, and that's selfishness. So don't be like, you have to respect. And that's another thing. Respect. It's so many things that tie into these topics and subjects because all of these things rely on each other. And it just comes down to doing the self work. Have respect for not only others but for yourself. Like it just all ties down back to that. But yeah, man gotta love me. He love the church, and if he don't love the church, I know he ain't gonna love me. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing about his mom. Like, I'm watching how you treat Miss Becky. You get an attitude with her real quick. You talk to her any type of way. Oh, honey, I hate to piss you off because that's gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? So, um, cheating to me has a lot to do with how people feel about themselves personally. Have a lot to do with greed, and sometimes, like you said, a lot of things are spiritual. The older I get, the more spiritual things are. Like, I've been with my little healing journey that I started a year ago. Everything has been so spiritual. I don't feel things like on the physical anymore. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not just interacting with people, I'm interacting with spirits because sometimes people aren't even aware that they're under attack. You don't know, like, if you're not tied, if you're not locked in like that, you don't know what's influencing you. Like, one day you just waking up and you like, oh, I'm choosing this, and you don't even understanding that that's a part of your spiritual warfare. So all this goes back to say, just stay in your word and know your word and use it when you're praying, use it in your everyday life. And people call them affirmations, but if you gotta where I feel like you'll get to that point where you can quote the scriptures, but if you just can quote what it says, that's more than enough. You got to know that there's power in your word, and some God responds to His word, so He can create, He can fit in where you use His word. So He's like, okay, I see you. Let me apply you there. Like, and it's like everybody. I know you're talking about testing spirits. If you want to see what God can do, use His word, most definitely. So that's all I have to say.
Oof, 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 oof. Anybody else? Anybody else want to add anything before we get into the last topic of tonight? It has been good, y'all. Having fun. Oh my gosh. All right. So the next question. This is such a good question. I'm really excited about these answers. Is somebody asked, should we get rid of monogamy in our generation? Oh Lord have mercy. Jesus. Anybody can go first.
Um, I say yes. It's a lot of with that. I feel like it's a lot of spirits being transferred around when that comes around. And me personally, I can't share. I'm very selfish when it comes to my significant other and the things that go on in those relationships. So yeah, get rid of it. It's a no for me.
Yeah, I was talking. I didn't even know my mic wasn't on. But I'm gonna say you don't necessarily have to get rid of monogamy. Get rid of lying. I am not the person to say what is right is right and what is wrong. If you feel like you want two and three wives or you want two and three girlfriends, just be honest. Or let me not make this gender based because there are women out there who enjoy dating multiple men. If you feel like, you know what, I want my cake and I want to eat it too, that is completely fine. But be honest. Like, monogamy is only for those who choose it. I was reading Matthew's the other day, and I'm not going to say which chapter. It's between chapters 17 and 22. But it says that only a certain group of people will understand God's principle on marriage. It's not for everybody. It says it in His Word. So you don't. If it's not for you, that is fine. Okay, but be honest about it. Like, stand in your truth, and honestly, standing in your truth, and this all yeah, it all ties back to knowing yourself. You can save yourself a lot of heartache, other people a lot of heartache if we just be real with ourselves. And stay grounded in our word. You don't have to get rid of monogamy though. It's just not for everybody. You need to be real with yourself and others for sure.
And just for a fun fact to people who don't know what monogamy means, that means being married or with one person. Literally, just one person. Just want to put that out there because some people might not know what it means. But yeah, anybody else can go. Anybody else can
For me,
go.
I know me personally, I'm not sharing my partner. It is you and me, you and I, we are one. Two have become one, and there's only one in this situation. That's just me. However, I also
Period.
know that David in the Bible had several wives, and David was still
Mm-hmm.
considered a man after God's own heart. Polygamy, monogamy, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you want to call your relationship, as long as, like Keontae was saying, you're being honest with you and your partner or your partners. I don't think there's a problem with whatever your relationship is. I have a problem with people lying about what the relationship is. And so, yeah, like just I just my mother raised me and she said there's someone has a problem when they lie for no reason. Why we gotta lie? What we gotta lie for? Like I just be honest with who you are, honest about what you want, and your person or your people are gonna find you, whatever it looks like to you. I don't think we need to get rid of monogamy just as much as I don't think we need to get rid of polygamy. I think we need to get rid of lying. But that's just that.
Mm, that was it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, Jesus. Anybody else? Don, Alexis, Chris. Anybody else want to add?
Yeah, like Keontae and Daniel said, it's more about accepting yourself, understanding yourself a lot more. Because at the end of the day, like you don't have to get rid of it. Because at the end of the day, most people, like I know, like Annalise said, he loved every woman. He didn't, he feel like he should be married to multiple women, or date, or have sex with multiple women. That ain't for everybody though. Most people feel like they should only be with one person. If you understand that you can either be with one person or multiple people, then stand in that. But don't, feel like it's okay to just date one person and oh, I want to just be around a bunch of other people at the same time. Because at the end of the day, you only hurting yourself and other people as well. But you mostly hurting yourself because at the end of the day, the lack of respect other people will show for you. It showcases how you are as a person. If you lying, like Keontae said, lying and not understanding who you are as a person, you only like showing a lack of respect for yourself as a person.
Mm, anybody else? Oof, oof, oof. Mm-mm-mm. Alexis, Don, y'all want to add anything?
I just think this was a question for me to learn from because I did not know what a polygamy was at first. But I'm gonna just say this because I don't want to just be solving this question. You do want to have respect for one partner, and like D said, I don't want to share nobody. I want to be there for one person. I want to trust one person. I want to love one person and be accountable for one person. So again, I think it shouldn't be, shouldn't be erased, but just know it's just a you just be aware and be careful of, the type of people that you date because I'm still struggling to understand the concept of polygamy. So if y'all forgive me, work with me. But I just want to be there for just one person and one person only. Just like how Adam and Eve was, they was with each other. Adam didn't talk to nobody, Eve didn't talk to nobody. I'm pretty sure everybody's favorite role model just talk to one person, love one person. And I think that's just the concept of like being there for one person and not talk to multiple people. And another thing, um this could be a reach, but you never know what that person could bring to you. It could bring drama from another person that he or she could talk to without communicating to you. He or she could bring a disease. You just never know. So I would just say it shouldn't be erased, but be aware of the consequences and decision making that could be a pawn to you once you talk to other people?
On the back end, I do want to introduce a different perspective. You have to be able to receive honesty and that truth, because a lot of us agree that we are selfish. But what happens when the person that we want to be selfish with is like, "Hey, listen, I like you, but I also like such and such too." Like, you have to be able to receive that. Um, and this I lost my other point, but if it comes back to me, I'll drop it in. But most definitely be able to receive honesty. Because sometimes we find ourselves in situations where that person being honest, and baby, it's you. You're the only person that's not understanding what's going on. Everybody else understands, and here you go thinking you can change somebody. Baby, you can't. They already told you what it was, so that's just on the flip side of what somebody keeping it real. Because not all the time somebody's lying. Maybe they telling the truth, and then here come Bob or Susan thinking that they can change somebody, and honestly, they already told you what it was. Um, and I was talking to a friend the other day, and so everybody has this thing where it's like action speaks louder than words, and yes, that's true. But what happened to like when your word was your bond? Like, literally, if a man tells you like, "Hey, listen, I want you as a friend," and I'm telling you because I've experienced this where somebody literally has told me like, "I want a friend," and then they show me you giving me boyfriend signs. Now I'm like a little not delusional, but I'm like, now I'm thinking like, okay, you say you want a friend, but you treat me like his girlfriend, and literally is what they said it was. You have to start holding people accountable to their word, because yes, actions do speak louder than their words, but your word is your bond. And if we help people more accountable for their word, we could save ourselves a little more time. It just so happens that people, I find myself just talking sometimes too, but I think I let people know I'm just playing. But I also let people know that when I say something, I say like you, I speak with authority in a way. Like, I'm not saying it to be harsh, but I also mean what I say. You know what I'm saying? So even
Right.
if my actions don't line up, it still reverts back to what I said. You get what I'm saying? So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say,
Um.
um,
Go ahead, Alexis.
well, first I want to say, going back, pick it off back off of what Don has said, that it do leads to disease, and it's just drama. Like, you don't want to deal with drama and all of that. Like, that's just a lot. Like, we seen on TV, and what we heard, like being in relationships, that got all that, like, all them girlfriends and boyfriends, the head person, they play off one another, so y'all fighting within each other, or you may be jealous because he or she may be spending more time with the other. So it's like, why would you even want to be with that, or why you want to risk your life for getting a disease, your health for that. But on the flip side of it, my whole big thing is that, like, going back to, like, what's your motive, or what's something that you're trying to get at. Like, are you trying to show that you have some type of authority over people? Like, like, what's your ego? Like you got an ego behind something. Like, what is something hurting from? What is that thing that you need to overcome, or you trying to get at to feel like you gotta be in a relationship? Because a lot of people who want to be a pimp, or who want they got an ego about them. There's something that they trying to, they have the authority, but it all goes back to, it's really like hurt. It's really like a void that they trying to feel or trying to forget about, but it's gonna always be there. But no, I don't agree with that lifestyle. It's nasty to me.
Yeah, Alexis just said, I'm just telling you how I feel about it. Period. I think everybody most definitely has made some valid points. And I think too, Keontae, I want to touch on something that you and Digga both said. You do have to want people's honesty. And that goes too with listening without being defensive. That goes to practicing that, because we wouldn't even have to worry about you accepting somebody's honesty if you weren't listening to be defensive. You need to listen to see where that person is coming from, not listen to be defensive. And a lot of times That's what happens. It's not the fact that people can accept people's honesty, but they don't want to because they're defensive about what that person said. And it doesn't even have to do nothing with them. But sometimes people literally try to put the role on them on how that person is. So that a lot of times that's what comes with people not being able to accept people being honest. And like I said, if you would practice it without being defensive, then you would be able to manage that. And I had to learn that. Still learning it. But I'm getting better at it. Not trying to be so defensive just because a person tells me something. Because at the end of the day, I'm learning that that saves me a lot of time. It saves me a lot of time and a lot of riffraff that I don't need to be going through. Um, so most definitely big on what she says, but make sure that if you are trying to accept the person's honesty, make sure that you're not, you have a non-defensive ear when it comes to what they have to say. And also too, if their morals and values don't line up with yours, why are you even talking to that person? Can we normalize that? Like, why talk to a person that doesn't line up with what you want, what you accept as a person? So I just feel like it's so silly when people put themselves in these certain situations, but you had a choice to walk away and you chose not to. And people do this multiple times. That'd be the part that people, why we just can't learn a lesson one time and let it be the one time, or maybe learn it two times and let it be the two times? Why we have to keep learning the same lesson and then we want to holler and be defensive and our feelings be hurt? Why we just can't just be just okay, see you later. Okay, I get what you said. That doesn't line up with me. Okay, see you later. Because I've had to do that to a lot of guys. Because I'm just like, okay, that doesn't line up with what I want. So we don't even need to have a further conversation. And I think if we start doing that, we'll be okay. Um, we will be okay, and we will save ourselves a lot, a lot of time. Um, and also, too, one thing that you said, Daniel, I do want to disclose some background on when you brought up David. So, remember when I was telling y'all back then that a lot of people in the Bible scenarios are examples of why we shouldn't do certain things? No, Daniel, it was a penalty for him. And it wasn't just a spiritual penalty towards God, towards him, but it was a mental penalty. He figured out that this is the thing, too, why us Christians, we have to start doing stuff God's way and not about how we feel. So that goes back to the thing sex before marriage. Not condemning people, but I'm just giving you context on why it's just better to do it God's way. Um, David did not do that. The story is he courted. He literally, technically, the Bible say he technically married the sister and didn't marry the sister. He married the sister, but also he married the other sister because he went into bed with one of the sisters, but the other sister was actually the sister that he was married to. So I say that to say David literally, it's a really just an interesting story. If you want to go look into it, go look into it because it's very interesting of a story. But that goes to go back to say, sometimes we as Christians, we just have to learn how to be intentional about what we do and how we do it. And just stop being so of the world when it comes to answering or doing certain things. Make the world fit around you. Don't try to fit into this world. You were not made to fit in, you were made to stick out. So I say that to say, go read the story. It literally will tell you how David felt, what was his penalty, all that other good stuff. So I say that to say, he was a man after God's own heart, but aren't we? And are we not perfect? We're not perfect either. So that goes back to another thing that Daniel says. I'm just, emphasizing your point. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm just saying that goes to show you that we're not going to be perfect. If David wasn't perfect and he loved God, we're not going to be perfect. But it also goes to show you too that you work towards a goal for yourself. You know yourself better than anybody. You know where you're at. So it's okay. Like D and Mia was saying in the first episode, it's okay to start over and have a standard that you didn't have until now. Because when you have a revelation, that's what's supposed to happen anyway. If we being honest. So I say that to say I don't think we should get rid of it. Especially especially as Christians that claim we're Christians, I most definitely think we shouldn't get rid of it. I most definitely think with all these diseases and all these soul ties in the world, I just think it's safer to have one person anyway. Because you do realize it's not just that person that you're sleeping with, it's that person, they all the people they done slept with, and the person that it's exchange. It's an exchange type of thing. Because soul ties are most definitely real. So you're exchanging all of that. So sometimes, I do feel like too, when it comes to monogamy, people just have to understand, as a Christian, you're supposed to be dating to be married to one person. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said, go read it for yourself. I'm not about to get into this war on what it is, what it ain't. Because it is what it is, and we just have to start saying it's black and white and keeping it pushing. But I will say the same things that we struggle with in the world, people in the Bible struggled with it before they even had all the more extra that we have now. They didn't have social media back then, but they did probably 9 times out of 10. All the things that we saying that we created, we did, they probably did it. And worse, may I add. So I say that to say just make sure that you're being intentional on what way you're going. And like they say, just be honest. If that's what you like right now, um, not knocking about it, that's what you like, that's what you like. But if that's not something that you're with, you need to stand 10 toes on that. Because sometimes that's for your good. Sometimes. And sometimes that's you being tested to see can you really stand 10 toes down on what you know is morally right for you, not for anybody else, but for you. Um, and like I said, I've been approached by many people that have wanted multiple girlfriends. I just told, okay, hit the road, Jack. Don't let the dough, don't let the car, don't let anything hit you. But that's just not what I'm on. And then you even had to furthermore. Well, let me tell you why. No, let me tell you why. It's not something that I want to do. Um, So yeah, I say that to say, figure out just where you are and intentionally just work up to where you know you should be. And that comes with prayer. That comes with everything that you're supposed to be doing. That comes with praying because it's really nobody's business to know what you need to work towards. It's only you and God. And that's the person who can steer you the best way. So I say that to say, that I don't think that it should be gotten rid of in our generation. I think it needs to be more normalized because it's people that's our age that's successfully married, happy, So I think more so it needs to be pushed for the next generation so it doesn't die out. Um, so yeah. Um, so yeah. Public service announcement. Kaitie wants one husband. I don't want multiple husbands. I don't want a husband that wants multiple wives. I have to say this because I don't know if this person is gonna watch my podcast, but I have to say, y'all. Matter of fact, I'll tell y'all a story. I was approached by one of my neighbors, and he said, "I'm looking." I kid y'all not. He said, "I'm looking for a wife." I said, "Okay, don't you already have one?" And y'all, his response to me was, "Well, my wife, she doesn't really like to have sex. So, in the spaces that she don't want to do it, I need a wife that can kind of fill in the spaces." And y'all, I told him, I said, okay, well, God bless. Um, Seems like you and your wife need to do a lot of talking. Um, but okay, and he said, just, he's foreign. He's just like, well, in my country, I can have, I said, okay, but in America, realistic wise, you can only have one person name on a paper. So I was just looking like, okay, look like you and your wife need to do a lot of conversating. I don't want to be in that, triangle. Not for me. So yeah, you have a blessed one. You have a great day, And that was the end of that. But then he turned around, y'all, and approached my oldest sister. So this is where the story just gets crazier and crazier, you know? So I say that to say some people is very bold with this thing out here in these streets. Um, but it's just really just up to you to figure out, is that something that you really want to deal with? And y'all, I was telling y'all, the same look y'all giving me is the same look I gave to him. Like, this is, you not for real. But y'all, he was wholeheartedly for real. And I said, wow. And he was like, he want to have more kids, and y'all, they already have 10 kids. So I was just looking like, how? But I was, just certain things. I was just like, just wow. I was really appalled because I've never had that, experience. Somebody address me and say stuff like that. So I was looking like, wow, wow. And you say it with so much emphasis, like it makes wow. So I say that to say, I was just like, okay, that's not my cup of tea, but you have a nice day, sir. You kind of got to laugh it off, from what you really want to say, so, just gotta let him down gracefully, he waved at me. I'll be like, okay, hi, So it's like, now, it's kind of awkward when I see him now because I'm just like, I'm just really stuck on what you just told me the other day. And then it's been like 4 weeks. So I'm just thinking like, the stuff people say, Um, but that's a side note. But anybody else can add anything else. But that is my whole take on the whole thing and my experience when it came to talking to somebody who believed in having more than, one wife. Yeah. So yeah. Anybody else want to add anything though? Anything about anything we said tonight before we wrap up this episode?
Um, y'all do the self work. That's my end of statement. Do the self work. Um, I understand the need for love, the want for it. I deal with it. I'm not perfect, but I'm sharing and I'm speaking for experience. Not telling you nothing I heard. I'm telling you what I know. And it's important to do the self work. Because everything else will literally follow and it will come to you. Um, it is really just that simple. I wish I could make it sound buttery and do the self work. You will save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. You will understand and know yourself. Um you will know how to deal with people on a more spiritual. Once you recognize that everything is spiritual, everything is beyond your own understanding. The word says it. It's in Psalms. Lean not on your own understanding. Some things actually, if it's not Psalms, it's Proverbs. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to misquote, but I know it's in the word that you must not lean out on your own understanding. Actually, it is Psalms. Because we have a way in our hearts that we think is right, but then there's God's way, and then that His word doesn't change. It's just it is what it is. Um, Most definitely do the self work. Get to know yourself. Get to know who God is, and once you learn to love through His word and like love like He would, the walk is not really hard. We make it hard because we have strongholds, and that's another thing too. Pray against those, because none of this is easy. But once you start walking, then next thing you know, you start running. Next thing you know, you might see a bike on the side of the road, and you start cycling. Makes it a little easier. Next thing you know, you got you a car, and then thing you know, you can take you a plane. Next thing you know, you got a private jet, and it's literally like that. But it takes time.
Anybody else just want to add anything from what was said tonight? Any closing remarks from anyone? That was really good. I will say, my closing remarks. This season has been an eye opener. I've learned so much, um, not just about my co-host, but about myself. I was able to take away a lot of different notes and things. I was able to identify a lot of stuff that I thought I was, I thought I had addressed, but I didn't. And I'm truly grateful for that. This season has been a roller coaster for me, but in a good way. I feel like most definitely the co-host for this season, y'all blessed me. If y'all, I know y'all blessed other people, but I wanted y'all to hear, and anybody else on all the other episodes that are not present at the moment, that you guys blessed me. Y'all have really came through for your girl, not just for other people, but for me. Um, it just shows you that people, if they your friends, they're gonna ride or die for you regardless. And they're gonna make sure that they cover you and that they got your back through whatever you do. And then too, it's just great. I'm just grateful to have friends that are on the same page I'm on when it's coming to what this next generation needs to hear or needs to, really just self reflect. And also, too, I'm just grateful that I don't have co-hosts that are so hypocritical. If you guys get to know each of these individuals, I cannot kid you not. I have seen for myself how these people live. And they're not perfect, but they're daggone sure some great, great role models for the next generation. And I can say that wholeheartedly with confidence in each and every one of them. Um, like I said, not perfect, but they have their flaws and they make sure that they're going to show them, but they're going to also show you that, hey, I'm going to get there. Um, and I think most definitely that's what the ultimate goal should be for all of us. Um, so yeah, I would say all the teens out there, please, please, please make sure that you take in everything that we've said. Whether it applies to you, whether it doesn't. Even if you feel like you have a homegirl or homeboy that needs to hear whatever, share it with them. Send them the clips, like just anything that you need to do to make sure that you do your part on getting it to them. And yeah, always know that you and God are on the journey. If you ever need any advice, my co-host, their IGs and stuff is under their names during each and every episode. Please reach out. I don't think they have a problem with you guys DMing them with questions, advice, anything. I'm telling you, they got your back. If you just want to DM your girl, I'm here. I will answer. Even if I don't get back to you immediately, I'm probably thinking, I'm praying about what to tell you or what to do next. But know that these are some great people. Um, so yeah, I love y'all. Um, and yeah, I'm just grateful. I just wanted to make sure that y'all knew that from me. Um, that's to all my co-hosts for this whole season, but especially this episode because I do love y'all for y'all be holding down the fort. But yeah, anybody else have anything to say before we wrap up this episode? All right, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for the script series. You guys, we have made it to the end of this season. Oh my god. Season 12, it was on and popping throughout this whole season, y'all. This season was definitely has been a life-changing season. Um wow, this most definitely was a good conversation along with all the others. Man, we really did get into it and talk about it all. Stay tuned, you guys, for season 13 of Hey Girl Hey Podcast. Your girl will be coming back live and soon. Not too soon, but I'll be back soon to talk to y'all. And hopefully, shout out your favorite co-hosts. If you want them back on, send those to me. You guys already do it, so so you're probably gonna send it to me again. I love y'all, all my subscribers, all my supporters, my family, my friends. I love y'all too. I really hope you guys were able to take away something from this episode and this as well as this series. Season 12, that's a wrap. That's it. That's all. I love y'all. Y'all say bye to everybody. See y'all